Good afternoon, everyone. Gossip Talk Shows family. It's Namsa here at Gossip Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. I'm on my own today, guys. And when I'm on my own, we talk about love. So, how to know when it's time to end relationship? That's the topic today. The relationship can be one of the most rewarding experiences in anybody's life, but it can also be very challenging. I'm trying to switch off my phone, guys, forgive me. It can be very challenging at the same time, but if you dedicate your life with the dedication and effort to maintain that relationship, and things can be very exciting. Unfortunately, all relationships are meant to actually last forever. When we say I do, or when we meet our queen or our king, promises are met. And when those promises are met, so let me just do this. Sort out my video. When promises are met, we visit places, we create beautiful memories, and sometimes it can be very rewarding. And so it is very important to, when you are in a relationship, to recognize the signs. And also when the relationship is not working, you can either maintain that relationship or restore it. I call it restore it. There's so many words, fancy words that we can use, but for me, the words that make sense to me is to actually recognize the signs and restore the relationship, restore what's broken, or we let it go. We have two choices: let it go or restore it. But both parties have to be willing to play a part restoring the relationship, or we let it go. Those are the two choices that we have. There is no other choices. Otherwise, if you stay in a relationship that is not working, you have health problems, you will suffer from anxiety, depression. But if you let go what's no longer serving you with grace, it hurts. To let go of something that you thought was going to be something, it hurts. So I'm going to cover all that. And also, you have to have an understanding what it means. When you have an understanding what it means to have a healthy relationship, then you'll be able to actually see the signs of a relationship that is not working and let it go. And when you do let it go, and both parties, they have to feel supported as well, and you have to feel valued and appreciated when there is an agreement, a mutual agreement. But when you're in a relationship as well, the other person, they need to know that they're being valued by the queen, and the king wants to know that the queen is valuing them as well. So it's just both parties that when they feel that they are on the same page, that brings that fulfillment in a relationship. It brings happiness, it brings growth on both partnership, because the relationship is a partnership. So the reason why a relationship is a partnership is, if you look at it, a man is a provider in a relationship. A woman, she's a provider in a relationship. Nowadays, women work. They provide for their families. Women, those who stay at home, they're still providers. They provide emotionally to their children. They provide emotionally to their spouse, their manager, they provide management in the house. So if anybody says, I don't work, so I don't provide for my family, to me, as somebody, a love harmonist and somebody who has experience in a relationship, I see that if somebody is not working, it does not mean that they don't provide. They provide, managing, making sure that things are done, run smoothly in the house is not easy. Taking children to the activities and making sure that the clothes for your spouse are cleaned. Even men that we've got stay-home dads now, they provide. When a woman goes to work, a man decide to stay at home, it does not mean that they don't provide for their family. They provide. They are still a provider. So a man is a provider, a woman is a provider. A man is an architect. So we both know what an architect is. A man enters a relationship with a vision. He has a plan how he is going to look after this family. His woman, or if they want to have children, he wants to, how he's going to look after the children. What kind of a city or town they are going to live, a man has a vision. So he's an architect. He designs his family life, the foundation of a family he designed. And what does a woman do? She's a mentor. A woman is a mentor because she makes sure that the vision of a man comes to light. She actually mentors the man for that vision to come to pass, where they want to live. A woman would dedicate her life in making sure that the vision of a man comes to reality. She doesn't pull her men down. That is a good woman. So men, if you have a woman, when you have a vision, traditional men, I'm talking about traditional men. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about traditional women as well. That's what relationship is about. A man is an architect, a woman, she's a mentor. When we find educated women, there's lots of educated women nowadays. There's lots of women who earns big money. But a good woman will never ever take a man's place. The vision that he has for her, no matter how much money she earns, she will never ever do that. She will support her man with that vision until they get to where they need to be. So that's what a relationship is. And so the list goes on, the man, the roles of a relationship, the list goes on. So a man has to know his role in the relationship. A woman has to, I think I have a video that I have made if anyone wants to go back to that video, because I'm trying to stay focused. So there's a video that I've made that can tell you that what does a man, if you look at all the relationship videos that I've made, you can have an idea of the role of a man when it comes to relationship. What is their role? So a woman has a role in a relationship. A man has a role in a relationship, and when we both know what we are supposed to be in that relationship, the relationship will go smooth. But when we don't know what we are meant to do in that relationship, a relationship is a graceful partnership. Intimacy relationship is partnership. When people get married, for me, if I was to get married, I'll never do the vows. And I'm glad that my pastor does not do those vows that are for better and for worse. How hard can it be get worse? How can it get worse? So the vows, if you listen to the vows of a relationship when people get married, sometimes those vows, they are I don't think they are actually in the Bible. I think people made them up. So for me, I wouldn't do them. For better and for worse, like the list goes on, I wouldn't do them because the relationship is meant to give me grace. So I want deliverance to get grace when I get married. The beliefs that my pastor believes, Dr. Olukoya, that's what I want to do. So if you go back and find the video, if I find it, I'll link the link there. The man's role, what does a man do? So go back to the topic that know when to end things when a relationship doesn't end. If a relationship doesn't end, it needs to, you need to let it go. Number one, it can either the two parties has been disconnected. If people are not communicating in relationship, there's a disconnection in the relationship, then the relationship is not going to work. And lack of communication and also disrespecting each other and negativity around that relationship can destroy the relationship. And what else can destroy a relationship? The negativity, the communication, and lack of support. Because when somebody enters a relationship, like when I said a man is an architect, when a man has a vision, in order for that vision to come to light, he needs support from his woman. It's like if a man starts a business, like let's say they are starting a business, and when they come home and you pitch that business, your ideas that you have to your woman, what happens when a woman actually support you with the dream? It comes to reality. When a woman support you, but when a woman does not believe in you, it's the same with women as well. When a woman has an idea, they pitch it to their husband or to their spouse, partner, and say, listen, this is the idea that I have. What do you think? And when she has that vision, or when he has that vision, if the other person, if the mindset all aligned to the future, you guys, what you want and what she wants and things like that, it will work. But if there's no alignment and both parties have different dreams and different ideas about what life should look like, then it does not work. So it's very, very important when you enter a relationship to date somebody that you can align, that the values and beliefs align with what you want. The future is very, very important to listen to people's goals, who they want to become. And if you believe that, you know what, this person, they think, we think the same way, we want to be in the same journey, similar. They don't have to have wanting the same thing, but similar values and similar beliefs, then it will work. But if you don't have a similar values, interest, they work. If you have different interest but have some other interest that you like about each other, you like to do with each other, it does work. You don't have to like the same thing. So that's why you find sometimes the people that you thought you were compatible, you find that relationship don't work, and you find that the people that you're not compatible because of what their mindset. So if the mindset is in the right place, then you're good to go to have that happy relationship. And also is trust issues. When somebody does not, when people don't trust, they have trust issues in their relationship, the relationship, it will not work. Trust is the fundamental, is the critical component of how a relationship is able to work and how a relationship is able to last for a very long time. So if there's no trust in that relationship, the relationship is not going to work. So that's why you have to let it go. And also, when somebody has trust issues, it means they have some things that they need to deal with. Lack of intimacy. Intimacy is the critical component of how a relationship is able to actually move forward. When you have intimacy with somebody, when it comes to the relationship, the connection is being created. There's that connection that is being created. The two inner men, inner spirit man, they combine together to create the connection. And that connection is connected. So that's why it's very, very important to actually have the same goals and to actually I'm not saying have sex every day. So if somebody, all they think about is sex, it does not build a relationship. So guys, so that we know where we stand. There are some people that use sex to build a relationship. Sex on its own, it cannot build a relationship. It's part of the connection, so that we know where we stand as part of the connection. Relationship, the foundation of a relationship, it requires so many things. It requires the communication, power of communication. Tell me your desires, I tell you mine. Tell me what you desire from me. Tell me how you want me to treat you. How can I make you happy? As a woman, as my man, how do I make you happy? Communicate your desires. Even when we eat, what kind of food do you like? Just communicate with me. What kind of things do you like? Why don't you like the things that you don't like? So the communication is very, 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 very important. So when you communicate with somebody in that relationship, but when that communication is gone, it affects the relationship. When the intimacy is gone, we don't date somebody because we want them to be our friends. We don't do that. We date somebody because we want them to be their spouse. So when somebody becomes a friend, thank you very much. The friendship is beautiful, but I didn't date a friend. If I wanted a friend, I'll go find a pen pal, or I'll go and find a friend, a business friend. So when we enter a relationship, because we want connection. We want to have intimacy with that person that we have a relationship with. We enter a relationship because we have goals that we have. We want the person that we are dating, the person that we are in a relationship with, to understand our goals, to understand our vision, to understand, to communicate with us. That's what we need. It's very, very simple, but sometimes a relationship can be very, very complicated because people want to complicate things, and unhealthy, or sometimes if you have different goals. My goals are very, very simple when it comes to relationship. I live a very, very simple life. Very, very simple life. My goals, the things that I want to achieve, I don't want to work for nobody. I just want to run my own business. I want to educate myself every single day. I want to grow so I can help my clients. I want to grow so I can help my children, so I can help my spouse, so I can help people around me. Those are the things that I love to do. Very, very simple. But when I find somebody that has different goals that does not support my goals, it becomes very, very complicated. So when you have different goals with the person that you are dating, it becomes very, very stressful, and it becomes like the connection breaks. So you need that connection emotionally, you need that connection with that person. Because when you have the same goals and similar goals, you kind of have the same goals, similar goals. Some people, they just want to be employed. It's fine. If somebody just want to be employed and they want to develop themselves further, it's good. It's good. They're doing something. Not everyone has to run their own business, so it's good. So we can't change when we date somebody, when we meet somebody, we can't want that person to change for us. We have to, whatever the vision that we have, when you meet somebody, you have to make sure that everything is aligned to what you want to become. And unhealthy patterns, such as controlling behavior. There are some people in a relationship who love to control. They love to control people and fighting, manipulating each other, and also it can be actually difficult. Those habits can be really, really, really difficult. And also you can find yourself stuck in this cycle of, that's why you hear people saying, this person doesn't get me. They don't get you because in the beginning, the relationship is not aligned, the goals are not aligned. And you find that when you have somebody who's a control freak, emotionally they control you, and you hear women or men actually saying, oh, when they're dating, when a man is dating a control freak woman, they use this excuse that okay, she is who she is because of the past. Normally it's the parents, the upbringing, that the things didn't go well when that person was growing up, or they use, or somebody that has been abused before, or maybe they had very, very challenging things. But guess what? When somebody goes through challenging a life that is challenging, there's an option that they can get counseling. And when they do get counseling, they can actually have therapy and get better and be different. It doesn't mean that when you've gone through something through your childhood or growing up adulthood, it doesn't mean that that situation it can define your future. It cannot define your future, and we cannot label ourselves based on our past. So we work on our past, we work on ourselves and deal with the past. When you deal with the past, then you have a healthy relationship. If the past is not dealt with, then that becomes a problem. If the past is not dealt with. So for me, what I will ask anyone, if somebody is going through something, deal with it. Face the past. And when you face the past, break the chains. Forgiveness as well is very, very important. So we don't need to make any excuses for our spouse and say they are who they are because of this, because of the past that they've gone through. So men do that to making excuses for the person they're dating, or women, they're making excuses. If they're dating somebody who is abusive, they'll be like, oh no, it's not his fault. He's doing is who he is because of how he was raised. So like, no, thank you very much. We're not gonna make excuses. If somebody abuses you, they're abusing you. So all we're gonna do is let it go of the abuser. Let go of somebody that is abusing you, because just because they've gone through something, it doesn't mean they have to abuse you. So that person has to work on their past, and it's very, very important to deal with those unhealthy patterns, and also lack of respect for boundaries. When somebody enters a relationship, those are the things that affect, cause the relationship a breakup. The lack of boundaries. Everybody in relationship has boundaries. whether physically, emotionally, or mentally. If your partner consistently crosses your boundaries or refuses to respect them, it can be a sign of unhealthy relationship. It's very, very important to actually make sure that you communicate your boundaries to your spouse. Communicate them. Make sure they understand what you can tolerate, what you can't tolerate. Is very, very important and is healthy. So how do we end the relationship now? When somebody is crossing boundaries, when the communication is not going well, when there is no intimacy in a relationship, when there is no communication in a relationship, when our goals are not aligned with each other, when the path that we want to take, some people, they want to take different paths. So how do we end the relationship? It can be really, really difficult. And sometimes the best thing is both parties have to agree. They have to come to an agreement. And you have to, the one thing that you have to do, you have to be honest and be direct to the person you are dating. If you want to end a relationship. Why do you want to end the relationship? Is very, very important. If you are experiencing any of these signs that I've mentioned, it's important to actually communicate effectively with that person, and also don't hurt their feelings. We are not there to hurt somebody, to say you are not good enough. If you feel that, or sometimes there are some people that the relationship, when you enter a relationship, or the relationship has been, it's a long-term relationship, there's some things that the connection is going to change. Maybe suggest the counseling, but sometimes not both parties are willing to go for counseling. There are some people who don't want to go for counseling. But if you discuss it with your spouse and suggest, don't push them, don't tell them what they need, what they should be doing, don't force them. Just communicate what you think. If they said no, they have a right to say no. And when they do have a right to say no, then the other option is to end the relationship. Use I statement. When you're communicating with your partner, try to use I statement instead of you, because when you communicate with you, that means you're blaming them. So let's say, instead of telling your spouse that, for example, if you say, you never listen to me, is that correct when you're speaking to somebody, like, you never listen to me? The correct one is, I feel unheard when we talk. And when you tell somebody that I feel unheard when we talk, it helps them to understand your perspective without feeling attacked or criticized. I feel unheard. And then it's up to that person how they respond to the message. There are some people, like myself, when somebody says they feel unheard, I'm happy to listen to them. Why do they feel that way? And how can I improve in order for them to feel heard and to be happy? I feel unheard. So, and then the other thing is practice active listening. When you're communicating with somebody, when you are ending a relationship, active listening is very, very important because it shows that you are involved and fully engaging into that conversation, and you are trying to understand the other person's perspective. And this means that you are giving them the attention of what they are saying and asking clarification questions, and also reflecting back what you hear to ensure you understand everything that is being said. When you reflect on things, it helps you as well. And the other thing is avoid blame and accusations. When discussing difficult topics or communicating with your spouse, instead of focusing on your feelings and experiences and trying to find the common ground with your partner, sometimes it's very, very important to actually not blame the other person, because when we blame the other person, when we blame somebody, we're not fixing anything. So it's very, very important to actually not go into a place of blame so we can solve something. It takes two to tango when it comes to relationship. When the song plays, if it's a couple that have to dance, somebody has to take the lead, and somebody has to receive the grace. And then in the dance and the music, both the two couples have to align with what the music is saying. The feelings have to be created. When the feelings are created, the dance is created, a beautiful dance is created. Those who are watching, they get into an emotional state where they get into the story, they start getting into the story, the communication. When the man is the lead, he communicates the tango, the dance. The woman, she is responding with grace, with fulfillment, with happiness. And then memories are created, and the people that are watching, the audience, they receive those emotions, they connect to those two couples that are dancing the tango. And that's what relationship is about. So that's why we cannot blame the other person when it comes to relationship. When it comes to relationship, if the relationship hasn't worked, everybody has a part they have played in that relationship. If it's an abusive relationship, it means that the signs were there from the beginning. But sometimes we choose to ignore the signs. So it's very, very important to actually make sure that everything is aligned with each other, whatever you do in life. And when all that is aligned and there is no blame, no accusation, then the agreement will be made. Or some people, sometimes they just want a break. They just want to take a break. But bear in mind that when you take a break in a relationship, sometimes it can become a habit. That, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to keep taking a break. Sometimes when you take a break, it is to reflect. is this person really for me? And also to avoid the arguments. It's not easy to end a relationship, but sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes people want an easy way out. When it comes to relationship, it's mostly our generation. We want an easy way out with the relationship. We want ready-made relationships. What we watch on television, reality TVs, we want all that. But when it comes to relationship, the reality is what you watch on TV, it stays on TV. In reality, there's no such thing. A relationship requires you to work on it. It requires an effort. It requires you to put time on it. It requires somebody to get to know somebody. You to enter the spirit of love. Enter somebody's world. Tony Robbins says, enter somebody's world. For me, I say, enter the spirit of love. Because when you enter the spirit of love, you get to know the person very, very well. What makes them who they are. Their beliefs, why they believe the things that they believe. And why are they different? It's okay to be different. And just get to know them. Why they love the music that they love. Why most of men and women, there are women who loves to play games. Why do they love to play games? What got to them? What got into them wanting to play games? Sports. If a man or a woman loves sports, why do they love the things that they love to do? So those are the things that are required for you to actually get to know that person. And once you get to know that person, and then there will be a smooth transition when it comes to a relationship. And also, what do you do when somebody does not want, when it's just the other person that wants to end the relationship? If the other person doesn't want to end a relationship, it's important to actually respect their feelings and communicate openly and honest about your feelings, why you feel that way. And also, it's very, very important to go and seek support from a trusted professional. So that's why sometimes it is very, very important to actually to recommendation, ask people to recommend somebody or somebody they worked with, or just do some research so you can find a good therapist that can help you with your situation. And that helps. But we have to respect when somebody doesn't want to end a relationship. If it's just one party, we have to respect that. And also, it's very, very important when you want to end the relationship, seek within. Find out if the reason you are ending a relationship, is it because of the other person, or is it because of the problems that you as a person have? Sometimes the relationship ends because some people have things that they need to deal with. Or sometimes they're not even compatible. So it's very, very, very important to actually respect the other person, and just if the other person feel that no, they don't have a problem with the relationship, it's very, very important to go and get counseling. And once you get counseling, a therapist, a professional therapist will do the counseling separate on your own. And then after, they want the other person to join you. First, they'll want to deal with you. And then they want the other person to deal with you. When they want the other person to deal with you, they want to make sure that the relationship is actually over or not. But not everyone wants to go to a therapist. Not everyone. So it's very, very important to actually know what you want to do and where you need to be. To be very, very clear with what you want to do and just get support. Sometimes we make the right decision. Sometimes we make the wrong decisions. Sometimes people want to end a relationship because what they thought that person would be, and the person, it turns out to be something different. Like myself, if anybody was to enter a relationship with me and say they have this mind of controlling women, they wouldn't survive. Because I ain't got time for somebody controlling my life, and I haven't got time for somebody to control anybody's life. All I do, my part is, what part do you want me to play in this relationship? That's all I'm interested in the part. How do I dance with you? Of course, problems come with is part of the package. But we have to learn to deal with those problems. So it's very, very important to learn how to deal with problems when it comes to relationship, and also learn how to cope with emotional pain. When the relationship of ending a relationship, there will be pain, there will be difficulties. But if you have strategies and a framework, such as seeking support from friends, from professional counseling, if you have the right support around you, it can be very, very smooth things. So make sure that you have that support. And the other thing, can a relationship be salvaged after the end? In many cases, possible. But it will require both parties to make a commitment, positive changes, addressing the underlying issues that led to breakup. So that is very, very important to actually address the issues, not to just say, you know what, there are some men that will tell you that, you know what, I can't live without you. Women will tell you that, you know what, I can't live without you. Give me something. If you want me to come back to you, give me something. What's going to be different if I do come back to your life? What's going to be different? Some people easily relationship ends because they don't feel loved. There are some people who are selfish, who love themselves too much, that they enter a relationship, they don't put that person, it's all about negativity. So when you have an understanding of the cause and overcoming that emptiness, sometimes there are some people that enter a relationship, but they are in a relationship, but that they feel all alone. That's emptiness. They feel unloved, and it can be very, very painful. And it can feel like an isolating experience. Mentally, emotionally, your well-being can be basically result to traumatic experience of breakup by simple feeling disconnected from everybody else because you're feeling not loved. So you have to understand those feeling maybe is something to do with attachment style, or maybe something to do with the negative self-talk and beliefs, lack of nurturing a relationship, negative thoughts. People suffer from their thoughts. Thoughts can torment you. They can actually, and sometimes low esteem and self-worthy. It can cause isolation and withdrawal. But if we practice self-compassion and self-care, it can help. If we actually deal with our negative talks and negative beliefs and our negative self-talk, and if we learn how to seek support, and we learn how to nurture a relationship, and we practice mindfulness, it can make a big difference to your life. So you have to understand the cause. What's the cause of feeling unloved? If that's what you're feeling, what is the cause? Why do you feel unloved? So you have to understand those things and ask questions. The best way is to take the diary and just write questions. Ask questions yourself. Why do you feel unloved? Some people, maybe they've been abandoned by their parents, and when they enter a relationship, they'll feel the same. So when you're being abandoned by your parents, it can leave a deep emotional wounds that it can affect your other relationship, your abilities to love again and connect to others. So that's why it's very important to ask yourself, why do you feel disconnected? It can create fear of vulnerability and intimacy in a relationship. It can make things very difficult to form a healthy relationship with others. Negative self-talk, how we talk to ourselves. We are not enough. No one is gonna want me. We spend hours and hours getting dressed, making sure that our makeup looks good, but at the same time, it makes us feel like shit. Ngozi Talk Show's family, I'm sure there's somebody who actually get dressed, who spend hours and hours, they get dressed and think that they can feel better. And then after they finish it, they don't feel no difference. The makeup, the fake hair, everything matches everything to make sure that when you step outside, you don't step in the mud. All those things are the things that I myself have done it. But after, I end up feeling really low. But what can we do to make it different? Is knowing that what's on the inside of you is better than is greater than what's on the outside. The outer world, we have to maintain it. But before you maintain your outer world, you have to maintain your inner world, because your inner world is going to present how you're feeling on the inside and on the outside. It's going to create, when you deal with your inner world will create your outer world. And it will make it very beautiful if the inside is beautiful. But if it is the other way around, you create the beauty on the outer world for people to see. When you step outside, they're like, wow, she looks amazing. She looks awesome. Men will be like, wow, give me your number, honey. And women, when they see a man stepping outside and they're looking good, inside they're feeling rubbish. They'll be like, oh, I want your number. Just give me your number. Okay. So when you date somebody, or when you select somebody, you can, going into a judgmental place, but when you speak to somebody, people normally, they can show us what they are feeling inside. So once you know what the other person is feeling inside, then you know what they are feeling on the outside. So it is very, very important to actually know your worth and value yourself. It's important to deal with the attachment style. And when you deal with the attachment style, we're not going to feel we're unloved. We're not going to find it difficult to connect with others. And it is natural. Just because somebody is dealt with other things from your childhood or maybe from your adulthood, it does not mean that you're different. So you have to learn to recognize those signs. And when you recognize those signs and work on your negative thoughts and emotions, and if you find yourself difficult to trust others, then that means there is a problem. So you have to deal with that problems, because that problem can lead to you feeling isolated. It can lead to you being disconnected. It can lead to emptiness. It can lead to you feeling unloved, and also low self-esteem and self-worthy. And also it can cause isolation and withdrawal. When somebody feeling unloved, they want to withdraw from people. And when you practice self-compassion and self-care, that means you face your feelings. And self-care, it means if somebody comes to you and tell you that you are not enough, how do you respond? How do you respond to somebody when you practice self-care, to somebody that tells you that you're not enough? You're not good enough for me. You know what? Nomsa, you are not my league. You're not on my league. What is a league anyway? Explain. I'd love to know what is a league. Not on my league. So I'm like, I know I'm not on your league, honey. So if somebody tells me that I'm not enough, I'm like, you know what? If I'm not good enough for you, I am enough for me. Because God that created me, he sees me enough. So if somebody is saying to me that I'm not enough, I'm like, it's fine. They have a right to think they're better than me. They have a right to say whatever they think about me, but I can choose to respond how I feel about myself. So once I respond, that's when how my life is able to, like how God is able to promote me moving forward. So it's very, very important to understand when a relationship ends, it doesn't end because you're not enough. It doesn't end because it ends the relationship for different reasons. Different reasons. Only God knows our destiny. We don't know our destiny. So it's very, very important to understand what does a relationship, what does alignment mean when we meet our spouse. I ask the questions that we have in our head, the movie that we had in our head. Does our movie align with this other person? They are moving. When you connect both movies together, what would that two movies create? Will they create grace? Will they create pain? So we have to have an understanding of the things that we want in life. Why relationship hasn't worked. Sometimes it has nothing to do with us, or maybe the other person we are dating, they have issues they need to deal with. And once the people deal with those issues, they normally they don't have problems. When they deal with the issues, they move on with their lives and they live a happy life. But if you understand that life is a game that you have to learn how to play. And once you learn how to play that game, you'll be able to move forward with grace. But if you don't know how to play the game of life, then that becomes a problem. Because the game of life, it requires you to become who you want to become. And by becoming that you want to become, it means there is no time to blame anybody else. Because no one knows the future. If the relationship doesn't work, we deal with it, which can be really difficult. We accept it, we sleep on it. Okay, when somebody tells you that I don't want to be with you anymore, we go and sleep on it. We don't react, we sleep on it. We deal with it, sleep on it, accept it, and we accept that with God everything is possible. Don't try to convince somebody that the reason why you can be together. Don't try to do that. If somebody does not want to be with you, it's their loss. And you just have to let them be. Let them live the life that they want to live, so you can live the life that you want. But when somebody says, I don't want to be with you, or I want to end a relationship, that's what they want. First, there are some people that feel that the only option is to end a relationship. But if the other person says, you know what, maybe we go for counseling because of the relationship, the disconnection, and the other person, they say, yeah, sure, it sounds like a good idea. And then go and do some counseling. And if you both still feel the same after the therapy, then you got to let it go. Sometimes the connection might come back, because the relationship ends because of so many things. A relationship requires work. You have to put boundaries in place, principles. No rules. I don't believe in rules. I believe in principles. God has his own commandments, because when we put the rules in place, it means the rules cannot be broken. The boundaries and principles that cannot be broken, because if I date somebody, one boundary is you cheat on me, we are done. We are done, unless if there was a demon that made you cheat on me. So unless if it's some ancestral generational curse that comes from a family line, that this person is cheated because of this, which it does happen sometimes. So I'm ready to listen. When God tells me that, oh, Nomsa, is a demon, is some generational curse that is involved, then I'm ready to listen. How do I break this curse? So there are some things that people cheat. There's a reason why people cheat. Sometimes it is because people, they are cheaters and they will cheat on anybody. So you have to put your boundaries in place that cannot be crossed. Or sometimes some people, let's say they are Christian, or sometimes they're not Christian, and or there's lots of things that you can put in place that your spouse have to respect. And also accepting somebody fully for who they are is very, very, very important. I listened to the couples that were talking yesterday on Saturday, how they've been able to actually maintain the relationship that they maintain. And this couple, the woman mentioned that she loves an organized life. And when she loves an organized life, and when that person had to come into her life, she had to give that person a room to be themselves. And that person had to decide, in order for that person to align with the other person, what do they need to be? It's not something that happens overnight. We can meet people that are awesome, that are everything, their values and beliefs align with what we do, but sometimes there will be other things that they need to, small things that they need to work on. But it's okay as long as they are willing to do that. So it's okay as long as they are willing to do all those things. It's fine. So yeah, it's 2:00 now, guys, and so it's okay. So what I'm going to leave with it today is, if you are in a relationship and the relationship is not working how you want it to work, know that you are unique as a person, and know that you cannot change somebody else, but you can change you by helping yourself with self-growth, personal development. You can help yourself to grow. So you can't change somebody else's world to be like yours. You can't change somebody because, like, let's say I'm a Christian. If I date a Christian, I cannot change somebody to become a Christian unless they tell me that they want to be a Christian. I cannot do that, but I cannot judge that person because maybe God wants me to date a Christian, a non-Christian. As long as that person understands my values, understand what it means for me to be a Christian, I don't mind. Because that person, they are still a child of the Most High. Even if they are not a Christian, they are still a child of God. So that's what I need to understand, that they are still a child of God. So it is important to know that we cannot go around and judging people, but we can date people that align with what we want, our values, our beliefs that aligned with us. We can do that. So all I'm saying is, know your worthiness. If things are not going well, how much are you worth? Self-love is very, very important to make a decision in order to move forward with your life, understanding how the game of life, understanding self-love, understanding what relationship means. A relationship, it does not mean we control each other. A relationship comes with fight. It comes with pain, but it does not come with shame. It does not come with guilt. Anyone that makes you feel ashamed of yourself, they shouldn't be in that intimacy relationship. Any man that makes you, a woman, feel ashamed, feel guilty, any woman that makes a woman feel ashamed, feel guilty, they shouldn't be with that person. They don't deserve that person. So if you are in a relationship where it's making you feel ashamed, making you feel guilty, you have to let it go. It's okay to let it go. And it does not mean that you are a failure. Take what you've learned from that relationship and work on yourself, and never give up on dating, because while you're a good person, there's another good person that is looking to find that good person. So never give up on your life for somebody else just because the relationship didn't work. Never ever give up on dating. Never give up on getting married because men are the same, women are the same. They are not. Women are different. They are unique, and their differences makes them who they are. It stands out. It makes them stand out. Women are different. Men are different. They are unique, and their difference, it makes them stand out. So if you are a woman out there who has been hurt and you're like, you know what? I don't want to hear this word of dating. So you can actually find good men. If you are a man who is out there and saying, you know what, I've been hurt, there's no good women out there, you can find a good woman. And women, you can find your man, your queen. And king, you can find your queen. It's just straightforward. It's just where and how. So if you are somebody and you want to find out how and where you can find Mr. Right or Miss Right, you can leave a comment. I will make another video and with the tips and nuggets on where to go and find and connect with the that queen and that king that you desire in life. So if you are single and you are looking for love, you can go to the agency and register www.hseia.com. You can register and come and find love with us if you're single and you have a job. My agency caters for professionals who have a job, but if you are a professional and who hasn't got a job at that moment and there is an explanation why you don't have a job, you can join as well. So as long as you have goals and dreams and you want your future to be beautiful, not because of finding a rich man or a rich woman, but you have your own goals, you can register to our agency and work together to find that special person. But if you want to find your own voice, lead from within, you can connect with me and other speakers and other coaches, and I will help you find your own voice. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow. Love you guys. Live with grace and God bless.